Hello, YouTubers, and welcome back to another episode of The Grandstand here on the Ohio Patriot Education Network YouTube channel. I'm, as always, your host, AR the Ohio Patriot. And for today's episode, we're going to talk about the very real possibility that fatherless homes have yet again led to another massacre, this time in Alabama. There was apparently a shooting at a Sweet 16 party in Alabama last night, about 10:30 last night, so not even 12 hours ago. Uh, Very scarce details right now of exactly, who was involved, but apparently it was a bunch of teens from what we know is what it is. There's very real possibility at least 6 people are dead in this. 20 at least were injured, and that's just from the articles I found here in the last couple hours. Very, very tragic. Very, very sad. But, again, it's preventable tragedies, dude, what it is. Like, almost every single one of these things takes place in gun-free zones, and it's fucking disgusting. And the fact that you have, most likely in this case, being black on black crime that nobody ever wants to talk about, which is why I will. It's ridiculous, dude. And I can almost guarantee, just before we finish even reading this article here, because we're going to read this article quick here in a minute or two, but, just prefacing this, after reading it once already, and then I'm going to read it to everybody here today, uh, I believe what happened here is pretty much an open and shut case. And this would be the same thing I think AK Nation News would say, and a bunch of other folks like that as well that cover these kind of stories. You most likely had a girls' Sweet 16 party happen last night. You had a bunch of people that were not invited to it show up, some small group, whatever it was. One or more of them were armed. When they were told to get the fuck out, they didn't do so, and they started opening fire on people. Then, most likely, some other people from the other side started pulling their own guns, which, mind you, being under the age of 21, never single one of these people was legally carrying firearms at that point, at least by the law of the land when it comes to, purchasing FFLs and stuff like that, and especially considering that I believe Alabama, I want to say their constitutional carry laws are still 21 and over, just like Ohio's is. So, again, these people would be legally possessed firearms, so it would be then on their persons. And what's interesting to me as well, if this in fact isn't what I think it is, and it's actually just another government fucking psyop, which could be as well, the issue there becomes a situation of you have in the last basically 5 or 6 days now in Alabama, the General Assembly there, multiple rhinos in their General Assembly as well as Democrats are now trying to push for a bunch of gun control shit, is what it is. And it could easily be another one of these kind of things, because I think this would either be like the third or the fourth one in the line of different events that have happened here in the last couple of weeks now. Because obviously you had Nashville, that was the first one, and then you had what is it now? The bank shooting in Kentucky the other day, and then this would be potentially like the third or the fourth then, because now there was that one in, I think it was South Carolina Beach or something like that. But again, that was a black on black crime that really wasn't talked about by the mainstream media. So I don't know. Very, very hard to say. Very hard to say. But anyway, I think honestly it could pretty much just be guessed like what this really was. But yeah, this is basically the local affiliate story we're going to read here, which is here. More than 20 shot at Dadeville gathering, which I haven't looked at the demographic of Dadeville, but just given the layout look there, like I'll tell you what, this building right here, it kind of reminds me of Canton, Ohio, quite a bit. And Canton's a fucking shithole, dude. It's the demographic makeup of it. It's just bad deal, man. And most likely it's just, ghetto areas is what it is. So, anyways. Says Dadeville, Alabama, a celebration turned violent in downtown Dadeville Saturday night as a shooting left more than 20 people injured according to law enforcement on scene. According to witnesses, the gathering was a Sweet 16 birthday celebration, and the shooting happened around 10:30 p.m. Saturday night. We are told the majority of those injured are teenagers. That information has not been confirmed by law enforcement. We do not know if a person or persons of interest or suspects are in custody. We cannot confirm how many have died at that hour. That they were reporting this is a couple hours ago, by the way. This article is from. It says crime scene tape surrounds a building on North Bodock Street next to the PNC Bank. A tarp hangs over the glass front door, and white sheets can be seen inside covering the floor. Several yellow police placards litter the front sidewalk, most likely where all the shell casings were, I guess. Said investigators report a suspected altercation led to a shooting at the gathering. So again, like I said, most likely one group came in that wasn't invited and then tried to start some shit is what it was. So several law enforcement agencies, including ALEAs, so that'd be like Alabama's Bureau of Investigation there, Dadeville Police, and the Tuscaloosa County Sheriff's Office responded to the incident and are investigating. We are waiting for official statement from investigators. The injured were transported to local hospitals for medical attention. Details about the suspects and motives have not yet been released by the authorities. Witnesses reported hearing multiple gunshots and people running and screaming from the building. Shooting has left the small town shaken, and authorities are urging anyone with information to contact Dadeville Police or the local sheriff's office there. So, yeah, like I said, it's hard to say, man. It's hard to say. It could be face value black on black crime for all we know. It could be something entirely different for that matter. You know, who knows? Neither one would surprise me honestly at this point. And again, it goes back to the fact that when you allow a bunch of fatherless homes for decades on end in this country, this is the kind of shit that basically results from it. You have a bunch of kids going out there, you know, doing fucking gangbanger shit is what it is, dude. And it's fucking disgusting. There's no need for it, honestly. There is zero need for that kind of stuff to happen. And if we had a better nation with mentorship programs and everything else like that going on, you would easily have a much better country overall. And unfortunately, because people don't want to invest in two-parent households anymore, again, it leads to shit like this is what it is. And that's the problem right there. So, I don't know. That's a solution, obviously, is doing something to deal with fatherless home situation. Another one is obviously, you know, like I've been mentioning in several grandstands recently, deal with this shit broken window policy style. You know, hit them with smaller charges like vandalism and stuff like that, so it doesn't lead to mass murder like this shit right here, dude. So anyway, I don't know. It's just, I feel like we're on a trajectory right now in this country where it's either a civil war heading towards us, or it's a balkanization event, or a mix thereof is what it'll be. But either way, it's not fun, dude. And it is getting worse and worse by the day, it seems like. And especially after 2020, like, that was one thing I realized back in 2020. Like, you really have to defend your own life at this point. Like, you must be armed at all times, dude. If you can be legally armed at all times, like, you got to be at that point. So, and then of course you got that fucking cunt Gretchen Whitmer over in Michigan signing a bunch of anti-gun crap. Like I think it was a Friday afternoon or Thursday afternoon, one of the two. That's basically safe storage laws, and now you got universal background checks in place there, red flag laws, all kinds of shit like that. And it's like, it's completely unconstitutional. It's time for her and other people that signed that shit into place right there, that even put it into votes and stuff like that. Any Democrat that voted through is what it is, because it was long party lines, by the way. Need to be sued out of fucking office at this point, dude. Need to be sued out of office, straight into handcuffs, and arrested for deprivation of code of law is what it is. Like, enough is enough of this shit. It's fucking ridiculous that you have any of this going on is what it is. And yeah, like I said, like when you look at this whole thing from the fact that you had, and that's just something I heard, I think it was yesterday, maybe Friday night, somewhere in there. Guns and Gadgets was talking about it, and he even said that you had multiple rhinos there in Alabama now pushing forward like random gun control bills and stuff this past week. And it's like, yeah, like the shit just adds up at that point, dude. It's like, okay, was this a targeted thing? Like, was this actually government done is what it is kind of shit, you know? Like it kind of does go into that quote unquote conspiracy thing there. But then again, it's also like, okay, what is the demographical makeup of that specific town and stuff? Like, again, is there multiple videos out there of a bunch of black teens at some birthday party that then led to this is what it is? It could easily be that way. So, I don't know. It's just fucking ridiculous is what it is. But honestly, I think we're just living in the same world at this point, and it's just sad. It's just sad how things have gone in my lifetime, and just how more violent everything has started to become now. And I don't know if it's going to have. I don't think it's just a single solution that can fix this problem either. I think it's definitely a plethora of solutions, like whether it be another kind of crime bill, but it wouldn't be, like the difference obviously with the 94 crime bill and what I'm talking about right now is that piece of shit in 94 that asshole Biden created was a fucking racist ass bill, dude. 100%. It targeted minorities and it was absolute garbage, dude. What we need a better, more balanced version to come back around, is what it is. And we need to actually have district attorneys, county prosecutors, whatever the case be. If you're going to be that person that gets into office like that, do your fucking job and keep these criminals locked away, is what it is. Do not let them see the light of day again. And on top of that, I would even say when it comes to state death penalties, when you have people talking about abolishing the death penalty even here in Ohio, and it's like, what are you even talking about, dude? Like, no, you add alternatives to it. You add firing squad. You add the chair. You bring back fucking gas chambers, for God's sakes. Public hanging is another one that Texas still does. A lot of other states should too as well at this point, dude, because it's probably the cheapest method possible. And the thing is, it's like, at what point does somebody just need to be unalive then, Like, how many people do they have to kill before they're not on this earth anymore? And I think that's where we're heading right now. We're heading towards that, precipice in time and history right now where there's going to be a convergence where people are just finally going to have enough is what it is. And they're going to be like, fuck all this shit. We don't care about your laws anymore because you're obviously not dealing with the fucking criminals. And it's going to be a bunch of armed citizens, the quote unquote law abiding in this country, that are just peaceful gunners at that point. I've already reached that point myself personally, dude. I'm not a fucking law abiding citizen. I'm a peaceful gunner at this point because so many of these laws they're putting on our books are completely unconstitutional. Any law that directly infringes upon your right to keep and bear arms, either at a state or federal level, is null and fucking void. Based on Marbury vs. Madison 1803 is what it is. And the fact that you don't have multiple court cases fighting it on the Marbury versus Madison case precedent of our founding fathers is fucking bullshit entirely. So anyway, but yeah, I just wanted to come on here real quick this morning and talk about this for a few minutes, give the base details of what we actually have right now on this whole thing, which is, obviously, sadly, a girl's birthday party turned into a violent crime is what it was. And unfortunately, multiple people lost their lives in the situation. I pray for the families and hopefully they'll get justice for their loved ones' deaths is what it is. But other than that, like there's not much more you can do, honestly. You can actually, deal with criminality finally the way it needs to be dealt with. And if we don't do that, like, what the hell's the fucking point of even having laws on the books then? What the hell's even the point of having jails then? If you're not going to jail these people, if you're not going to put them in prison where they belong. So anyway, I don't know. It's just a sad situation all the way around. And again, just a great reason not to go to giant gatherings like that, honestly, because you never know what's going to happen. Like once you have X amount of people at anything, it's just going to turn bad. So, but that's about it for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I'll be back for another one at some point, probably either later tonight or tomorrow. It'll probably be after Honda's chat, probably tomorrow, which will be the other one I was talking about with that trans teacher in Florida there. I haven't got a chance to shoot that one yet. There is an update to that. They were fired, thankfully, over that whole thing because they were talking about doing a massacre against children there. And yeah, they can go fuck off on that one. They should be in Florida State Prison right now, period. But other than that, that's where we're at for the day. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and I'll see y'all in the next one.